Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. And, of course, available wherever podcasts can be found. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, the notify bell. Always also check us out on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. I bring that up because, coincidentally, that's where we get our video questions for today.
Yeah.
That's right, at the $20 a month mark. On Patreon, you too can submit your question right here to Matt Chat and have it featured, and we will talk about what you've talked about
Pretty much.
in your
We will
video
answer
question.
what you have asked.
And we're going to kick things off with the Smash Bro himself, Happy Dwarf,
Rich.
Rich. Let's see what he has to say.
Friendos, Rich the Smash Bro here, and first of all, let me thank you for naming me the Happy Dwarf if you were to wake up and 7 friendos were your dwarves, or whatever the hell that was the other day. Anyway, quick question, since it was missed on Overrun while talking about streaming services and all that shit. But, be real. Now that Punk has made an appearance, I asked this question a couple months ago. Is there a possibility for him to be Wrestle ready by either the Rumble or Mania, since they really don't have anything set in stone in terms of planning? Or are they going to ride this Punk thing out to see how much attention it gets and maybe start him a storyline after Mania? And if you think he's Rumble ready, could he be the Rumble winner? Either way, let me know.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. This coffee is delicious, Larson.
I already had my coffee. And
What's I say? Anyways, what's Rich talking about? Oh, yeah, CM Punk. That's right. Is he ready to wrestle the champ? Is he going to be ready for Royal Rumble? Is he going to suit up for WrestleMania?
Are you asking me? Or are you prefacing your answer?
I'll go first, I guess. I guess anything is possible. But I mean, it wasn't that long ago that, we thought that he was completely and totally done with wrestling.
Still kind of feel that way.
But no, I think that he's literally laid out how much he wants, the money he's looking to get. And I think Fox is probably going to WWE after looking at the ratings he's going to bring in for Backstage. And they're going to say, hey, we want that extra 10,000 people to come to SmackDown on Fox. No, I think if he's going to come back to wrestling, Rumble Mania is too soon. However, if the next 6 months or so go pretty well in terms of how his presence on Backstage is, if Vince is into it, if all the stars align and they're like, hey, we could use another ratings boost guy. Why don't you come in? We'll give you what you want. Schedule, money, all that stuff, creative control, whatever. We'll give all that stuff to you. I could see it being like a Raw or SmackDown after Mania type situation at earliest. I think that the Rumble Mania, that's too soon. You would think that they would have their plans already set, but
Whoa.
hold on, maybe not.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Maybe
here.
not. So I would think that, at the earliest, it would be Raw and SmackDown after Mania.
Assuming he is going to wrestle again, which I don't think is a given. I'm still leaning towards maybe, probably not. His monetary number he noted, I feel like that's pricing himself out of an offer
Sure.
to an extent. Because if he's talking 20, 25 million a year, I know the WB's coffers are deep.
He never said a year.
I know.
Never said a year.
That's the implication, I guess. If that's the idea, that might be too much for WWE in terms of the value they perceive they would receive from adding him to the roster. Not that he won't boost ratings, he will, but is he enough to be a complete game changer? I don't know. Long term, I don't know.
You know what's funny?
I'm still not convinced he's coming back.
They don't do anything long term.
No, nothing at all.
They don't do anything.
Nothing.
So it's like when you say, can somebody be a long term game changer? What you're essentially saying is, can the mere presence of one person over every single week for the next 3 to 5 years or whatever, like there's nobody.
Nobody.
There's nobody. I don't think on this planet. Like, I mean, would the Rock's presence every single week, which would probably preclude him from continuing on his momentum in the movie world.
Yeah. He's the one name I think that maybe would have a chance.
But he would move it from what?
2 million.
2 million to 2.5 million?
Good weeks, maybe 3 if the story's decent.
That's a big if.
I know it's a huge if.
That's
Anyway,
a big if.
there's several things I think that preclude Punk from being ready for Rumble, much less Mania.
Well, yeah. Let's say the premise of your argument does include. Let's say that he is coming back to wrestle.
Okay, yeah.
That's the premise.
What was he fighting at UFC? 175, 178, 180?
I thought it was like 180.
Roughly 25 to 30 pounds less he was at WWE. He's in good shape. He's probably in good. He's in good shape to fight MMA.
I think he's in good shape to like train MMA. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not in. It's going to be weird if he comes out at 175 pounds. In his tights are gonna not fit right. You know what I mean?
They're gonna sag.
Yeah, he's gonna have soggy bottom.
Yeah.
His tights. It's not enough time for him to beef up. Is what I'm getting at. Not to say he has to get back to 210 or 215, whatever he's probably billed at, but he's got to be pushing 200. Otherwise, it's gonna look like he's been sitting around not doing anything.
So I don't know what he looks like right now without a shirt on. However, I would speculate that if he got that seed in his head of, he logs in using Face App to get to his Chase account, right? Instead of a password. He logs in, he's like, another payment to a lawyer went through. I need some money.
I know.
Whenever that seed was planted in his head of probably going to do some wrestling, I would imagine at that point he would start getting into wrestling physical shape.
Yeah,
I don't know when that seed
granted,
would have
he was
been.
wearing a jacket last night on backstage. He still looked to be around his UFC fighting weight based on his face, his arms.
He was really sunken in back then.
Yeah, I know, but his arms look pretty thin. What you see around, he had his sleeves pulled up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
He still looked like he was probably, I would speculate, 180, 185, which is still 20 pounds or so removed from probably what he was at in WWE.
Have some donuts, man.
Well, I mean, he's just not what you want. You want CM Haas? No, you want him to.
Actually,
I'm not saying, I would like that too. I'm not saying he has to look physically the exact same he did, but I think to do some of the stuff he probably wanted to do, he'd probably have to beef up a little bit. If he wants to wrestle a similar style as he did.
Yeah.
Not that a whole lot of what he did was predicated on being a power wrestler. It never was that. But
anybody else who went through wild physical transformations?
Shawn Michaels was not as ripped when he came back. He was still muscular and really good shape, but he was noticeably lighter. And it's not to say that Punk couldn't do it. He'd have to get new gear, obviously. Nonetheless, he could change his style up a little bit.
I just wonder if they'd want like such a look. It's going to be at least 2 months of him doing this backstage thing for him to get a lay of the land just in terms of backstage alone.
Is whether after 2 months of being forced to comment not necessarily negatively all the time on WWE products, whether he's going to throw up his hands up in the air and say, why did I get involved in this in the first place? Do I want to jump deeper into this morass? Or I'm good after 2 months.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, I would think that it'd take a little while to just sort of figure out, do I actually want to be doing this? Is this the landscape? Is this the environment I want to be in? And then beyond that, but I don't know. We say that now. We say, oh, yeah, it might be too soon. I don't know. He could be ready in time. I mean, physically speaking, I don't know.
I'm sure like in cardiovascular shape, he's fine. He could go.
Probably. I mean, it all depends on what they want to do. I just feel like we're already at Survivor Series, man.
Yeah.
Like we're basically the road to WrestleMania kind of starts here. I know they say it's the Rumble, but it's kind of here because we're on the road to the Rumble, and that's the road to WrestleMania. So you'd think it'd be too soon, but who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Triple H could suit up, any time and be in that ring with Punk if that's going to be the Mania match.
Yeah.
That's a distinct possibility.
I mean, if Punk starts, eating 8,000 calories a day and works out 3 times a day, and his body can handle the regimen he'd have to do to bulk up in short order.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs. I just don't
there
know.
are.
Or if he even cares about any of that. Maybe he'd be totally fine just walking in the ring as is and thinking here's the thing, so long as he thinks he could put forth performance that would make him happy, that's paramount.
That would make sure the check cleared.
And also, I don't think he would, I'm sure, a huge check would be great. But he doesn't seem like the type of guy. And I could be wrong about that.
Dude, he literally just said $20 million.
Let me finish my thought before you
He
interrupt.
doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would put in a half-ass performance
Yes.
just for a paycheck.
Yes.
Oh man, that dude seems to be all about the paycheck.
I know, man. He still carries himself like he's got some integrity. So, so I feel like if he went in there thinking he'd be a shadow of his former self as a performer, he'd be hesitant to do it.
Didn't that dude just go out on a national stage and embarrass himself in 2 fights? He seemed totally fine to do that for a big paycheck.
But that was a brand new endeavor.
And he put his all into it.
Yes, he did.
Put his all into it.
It wasn't for lack of effort that he got his ass beat.
That's correct. Correct.
It was just a lack of skill.
Yeah, no, I was joking about that. So yeah, I don't know if I think it might more depend, to be honest with you, on WWE if they think, look, they know Punk wants a lot of money. He's not going to get $25 million a year. That's not going to happen. Might they try to pay him a bunch in stock? Maybe he might get. Lesnar makes, according to Forbes, Lesnar made $6.5 million last year. So they might say, hey, look, Lesnar money, a really good schedule, some creative control. What do you say? Come back home. And if they pay attention to whatever, if he adds ratings to backstage, if he keeps on getting YouTube videos on his backstage segments that do a lot of numbers, if they see that within the context of if he's in the WWE universe anywhere, including backstage, and people are watching, okay, we think that he's worth the money. Let's bring him on in. Mm-hmm. They don't wait. I mean, they're like, hey, we think that we can make money with this guy. Let's bring him on in. Mania's around the corner.
Yeah, they'll think that, but the ball's in his court then at that point.
Well, yeah, but I think that they're the ones with the money. So,
obviously, but at the end of the day, I mean, I read the quotes about the $20 or $25 million. I didn't hear him say it. I didn't know what the subtext of it was.
Subtext is, I like money. Give me money.
It remains to be seen. I'm still pessimistic that we're going to see him back in the ring.
Very well.
Let's say it's not going to happen. Just pessimistic that it will happen next. Christopher Ramprasad. Oh, speaking of pessimism, he's totally pessimistic about WWE Creative. Let's see what Christopher has to say.
Oh, boy.
Hello, Stephen Larson. So my question is, why has Raw and SmackDown been terrible recently? And don't you know, like, right now we're in a war with AEW? Don't you think they want to improve the product and make the product better? Like, AEW is not even giving their best work yet, and they probably will be getting their best work when they improve better. But look at WWE. Look at Raw and SmackDown. Look at the segments they've been producing and stuff. And it's been terrible and boring. Sometimes I feel like I'm watching wrestling not for fun anymore. I feel like I'm just watching it just for work, and I don't want to feel like that. And my biggest problem is why are they not trying to improve the product?
Thank you, Christopher.
Ooh, frustrating times for Christopher.
Well, and I think for a lot of WWE fans, it bears out in the ratings. Raw's ratings are in the toilet right now, averaging about 2 million viewers.
Yeah, that third hour got like 1.75. Wow.
Right,
I mean, he was up
ledge.
against a killer Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
In which I solidified my win against my wretched opponent this week.
It's talking about me.
Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Anyways, I mean, it's easy to say it all boils down to what Vince wants. You know, what, in the end of the day, what Vince wants, Vince gets. Right now, seemingly Vince wants mediocre television. I don't think there's any savior, any one person that can be brought in to solve all the ills that are plaguing main roster while Vince is around. Because at the end of the day, anybody who is given the ball on Raw or SmackDown still is going to have to answer to Vince. Mm-hmm. Like, we had a lot of hope that Paul Heyman was going to come in and right the ship, and there's been some decent stuff. Nonetheless, it depends if Paul's charge is to restore Raw to whatever previous glory it might have had, or if his charge is just to feed Vince new ideas and satisfy whatever needs he has from a creative standpoint. That's still, I mean, it seemed like in the initial announcement there was a certain amount of autonomy granted to the executive producers of Raw and SmackDown. You know, Bischoff's gone now. Mm-hmm. Bruce Pritchard doesn't necessarily seem like the type of guy who's going to go in the Vince office and tells him that his ideas are crap.
No, quite the opposite.
So it's just, I don't. Even if Triple H was put in charge of WWE Creative, he still have to answer to Vince. Mm-hmm. And it might get better, but it wouldn't be a cure-all. You know, I just don't think there's anybody that can be Vince's right-hand man from a creative standpoint and solve all the problems, because they'd still, at the end of the day, have to answer to Vince, and Vince has final say over everything.
Yeah, what you're saying is right. I have written down here, because Paul Heyman is overrated, Bruce Pritchard is a glad-handing yes man, and they're both in their 50s and don't know what the modern fan wants. Vince is well deep into his 70s, and he, by and large, although there has been, even in the NXT invasion on that SmackDown episode, granted their backs were against the wall, and that's usually when they do best, which is weird. But also, Triple H had like a heavy hand, allegedly, in that episode. And so I half disagree. I agree completely in that Vince has the final say. As long as he's around, there's going to be problems. That being said, if Triple H's sole task was be executive director of Raw, make it better, I think that Triple H, more than Heyman, I don't think you'd see the cuck angle with Triple H in charge. I don't think you'd see that kind of stuff. I do think that Triple H would probably be feeding Vince better ideas. But by all accounts, even Triple H trying to talk Vince down from crap ideas doesn't really work. So, yeah, the main problem is Vince. And then, it's really kind of sad that a couple of years ago now, they got rid of a guy like Jimmy Jacobs, who was responsible for, among other things, the Festival of Friendship stuff. Jericho and Owens really liked him. He was in charge of other stuff. I forget what now. But imagine if Vince had given a guy like Jimmy Jacobs the same kind of leeway that he gave a guy like Vince Russo back in the day.
Yeah.
If he relied on a smaller brain trust of guys who were a bit younger and more in tuned with the product.
Totally. Well, more in tune to kind of the cultural zeitgeist. I think it's not so much the product, because you can be in touch with current WWE product and not really be tapped into what's going on culturally. You know what I mean?
Being in touch with the product, I mean being in touch with pro wrestling and what the modern fan really is looking for. And that's not to say everything Vince does is bad. It's just Vince's flops are huge.
Yeah.
And his successes are,
these days, few and far between.
His successes are on the micro level, whereas his flops are on the macro level. And what I mean is there's no long-term plan. It's just small ratings pop to small ratings pop. And that's why I'm actually kind of confident that Punk will be wrestling again, because if nothing else, he would bring a big small-term ratings pop. And that's what Vince lives for, week to week, day to day. This guy's going to pop. I guarantee you, man, if those ratings keep on falling on SmackDown, those executives are going to come to him and say, listen, this is a $1 billion deal, $200 million per year. We need these ratings to go up, and we're giving you a lot of money. Make it happen. He's going to be looking at CM Punk. That's why I'm kind of confident that's going to happen. As far as why have them has been terrible? Because, and on top of that, I don't know, we'd have to look at this historically, but like it was around this time last year that Raw and SmackDown were really crap also. I wonder if there's just an end of year.
Well, I think there's a cyclical nature to things, and there's a lull between Mania and SummerSlam, and between SummerSlam and Survivor Series. I think that's not uncommon.
Yep.
Next, got a question from Patrick Sparks. Take it away, B-Man.
Hey, friendos, Pat here. All right, gotta make it quick at work. So, out of the big storylines that have all happened over the years of wrestling, and how influential they were to all of everything, really, which two superstars didn't really have a lot of chemistry in the ring, per se, but the story was very interesting? One that comes to my mind right off the top of my head is Undertaker and Kane. Cool story, lots of cool things, Kane debuting, all that, but they were never too good in the ring together. But what do you guys think? Thanks, friendos. Bye.
Thank you, B-Man.
Thank you, B-Man. You know why we call him B-Man? Remember that?
Yeah, because there was like
probably don't know.
the sound buzzing of bees in the background, one of his Matt Chat videos.
That's right. Apparently it was the machines that were at his job. But
Powered by bees,
Powered
apparently.
by bees, yeah. I go first. Yes, I
Yes, you do.
I'm going to say this, man. Warrior Hogan 2.
Was that really a good story, though?
Man, I'm telling you, back then, I was marking out big time. I was huge into it.
Have you watched it recently, though?
What does that matter? It was the Warrior coming back and sort of challenging the leader of the NWO. He was putting Hogan back on his heels. But man, and if you take a look at their Mania 6 match, that was a pretty decent match between two guys who really were not good wrestlers.
Yeah.
Their match at Halloween Havoc was maybe the worst high-profile wrestling match of all time. It was horrible.
It was really bad.
That being said, I really dug the story. Yes, was it bad? Of course. Was it bad for all the right wrestling reasons? Yeah. Come on, man. You have freaking Warrior in the Wall. You have Hogan. I don't know. I don't think that was when Hogan had the. Was that when Hogan had the Hogan head?
No, I think Sting gave that to him.
He had a beefcake
As the disciple.
as the disciple.
The One Warrior Nation. That's NWO backwards.
That was NWO backwards.
So creative.
That was kind of a big deal. He wore. Is that where he wore when he wore a baseball hat?
Yeah. I'm going to say this, and the primary reason the two wrestlers in the storyline that had some intrigue and could be interesting had no chemistry, because I don't think they ever shared the screen together except for their match at WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt and Undertaker. If they had taken things a little bit further, because Bray was coming out and says, I'm new face of fear. The implication is, I'm going to replace you, Undertaker. Maybe not in usurping the name or the gimmick per se, but the perception that I'm the scariest guy around here.
Yeah.
That's some interesting stuff. Stuff they didn't exactly explore as much as they probably should, because the Undertaker was never around to promote and advance the story. I think he made one appearance before this match.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they were face-to-face. The match of Mania was a dud. Undertaker went over, which didn't make a lot of sense because Bray really needed that rub. But Undertaker went over because the previous year he lost and broke a streak. Can't have Taker losing 2 Mania matches in a row, I guess. But there was a story there that had some interesting stuff going on that if they had actually explored the chemistry face to face, the two participants in it, could have been enhanced even more.
I think with that one, it was a really good premise that they whiffed on, because isn't that the build that Taker literally wasn't there until like a week before?
Yeah, that's what it said. Yeah, he never was on TV for him.
Yeah. So I think it was a good premise, and then everything else was like not good. Mm-hmm. Bray was trying his heart out, though.
Yeah, he was trying to carry that.
He had nothing but inanimate objects to work with.
I know.
Hey
There's some
man,
good promos though.
Look at this coffin over here, man. Undertaker, I'm gonna get you.
Pretty much. See ya, Mania, new face of fear, man. Next, debuting Matt Chatter, Green Lantern.
Woo, new to the fold.
Hello, Stephen Larson. Green Lantern here. First time Matt Chatter. I'll make this quick. AEW's tag team vision. They have 10 seconds where they can run in, interrupt the pin, beat up each other, do whatever. My question is, do you like it? Yay or nay? Thanks, friendos.
Thank you, Green Lantern.
Thank you, Green Lantern.
Oh, I go first, right?
You go first.
I like it because it reminds me of PWG or AAA tag matches where the rules are kind of flexible.
Yeah.
I like that. I like, especially in tag matches. Here's the thing. In AEW,
AAA, they don't even do tags. They do tornado stuff.
No, they don't. There's lucha tag rules, which is if someone gets tossed in the ring, one of their partners can get in.
That's all tornado.
That's how New Japan operates too.
It's all tornado.
No, it's not tornado.
Yeah,
it just seems that way because the rest don't care about the rules.
Bingo. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care. That's what's great.
Yeah.
You can maybe lose match. Oh, here's something that tag wrestling maybe more than other forms of wrestling can get really formulaic, because you got the face team and the heel team, and one member of the face team gets isolated, gets beat up, hot tag. In one thing I like about New Japan tag matches is they don't really seem to adhere to that formula as much, because someone gets tossed in the ring, guess what? Their partner can come in. It allows them to explore different means of telling a story in the ring. That's not the traditional face guy gets beat up, isolated by the heel team. It's different. It adds an element of chaos to it, which I like. Give me chaotic tag team wrestling. It should border the entire time on a tornado tag match, but it doesn't have to be, because it allows people the opportunity to do singles moves. It's not all bang bang combo moves. It gives us the purest variety of tag team action when you give them a little extra time to do some double team moves. I love it.
Give me all tornado or nothing at all. That's what I want. The Young Bucks are awesome when they're doing those great combo moves. I don't need to see
10 seconds is enough time to get them off.
I don't need to see 5 minutes of one guy getting beat up and then you get a couple seconds of some cool combo moves. I want all combo moves all the time. I really don't want people selling anything either. I just really want AAA, where nobody sells anything. It's pretty awesome. and it's just pure chaos. And then you see a guy do a sunset flip, supposed to go onto a table, and he just bangs his head on the table, and you think he might be dead. That's what I want from my wrestling all the time.
All right.
Next, Double J has a question. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, which means one thing, Black Friday. Let's see what he has to say.
Double J here. So my question this week is, what are all the champions going to get for Black Friday? Steve, you do Raw and NXT. Larson, you do SmackDown and AEW. See ya.
Thank you, Double J. Ain't he great?
Thank you, Double J.
You go.
All right, fine. I have Raw and NXT. So for Brock is on Raw. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna get him some more land. I'm sure Black Friday you can find some good real estate deals.
I don't think it works that way, man.
I think good real estate agents will find a way to rope in Black Friday savings into their land dealings. So I don't know. Brock could hit up whoever for more land.
Your other answer's better.
Riding mower.
Yeah.
But that fool does not do his own yard work. That is probably a fact. Or maybe another like a barn gym, because I think he works out in a barn or something.
All right.
For AJ Styles, that's easy. Get him some good Elgato gaming equipment, be it a stream deck, so that he on his mixer streams when he's dropping those shoot interviews to his stream chatters, he can be going through full cam and then cut to gameplay and then cut to away from keyboard screen if he has to get up and go over a match with somebody, and then he comes back and so there's that. So get him some Elgato stuff, maybe an Elgato green screen back there so he's not just in a room with EC3 lingering in the background. And then for Becky Lynch, the current Raw Women's Champion, get her an Ashley Madison account. Isn't that the thing where you go on if you want to cheat on your significant other?
But then they say the whole thing was bogus. Wasn't that the thing?
The whole thing was there was no women on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She's a woman. And so she would help legitimize it even more.
Well, so I mean,
she needs to get away from Seth Rollins.
The whole enterprise was bogus.
Seth Rollins is a big old dork. And you can tell, let me ask you something. Has she ever genuinely looked happy in any picture you've seen of them together?
When they got engaged, yeah.
I don't think she really had a look of happiness on her face. It was a look of, well, he's the top guy.
No, she seemed happy there. The caption of the picture was
Has she ever
heartfelt.
seemed anywhere close as happy as Charlotte in those pictures?
No, but she's got a public image to preserve of being the man, being kind of above all that.
That's a good point, but I don't really think she's happy. Who would be Seth Rollins, a big old dork? Next, the War Raiders. One of them, Rayro, is big into hunting. I have no reason to think that the other one isn't.
Hanson.
So REI gift cards. They can get all their hunting needs there. And I'm okay with that.
Does REI do hunting or just camping and outdoorsy type stuff?
Well, isn't that the same thing?
No, because you can go camping without hunting.
Didn't Dick's get rid of their guns?
No, last time I was at Dick's Sporting Goods, they still had firearms there.
Okay, what's the big hunting place then?
There's a Bass
Pro
Shop, Cabela's.
All right, Bass. There you go. Adam Cole. Apparently he likes to chew tobacco. So I'm going to get him a new spittoon.
There you go.
Ding. Or evidently his lady friend Britt Baker has not given him the proper reading materials on why chewing tobacco dip is bad for you. So I'm going to get him some dip literature.
All right.
And then for Roderick Strong, there was that brief period of time, and even kind of recently, he seemed to be the main perpetrator in attacking and trying to murder Velveteen Dream.
Yeah,
he also tried to murder Matt Riddle. So I'm going to get him whatever murderer needs: bleach, plastic tarps, duct tape, and of course a shovel.
My goodness.
So you can do some digging.
Oof.
Maybe a fire pit of some sort so you can burn the remains. In any event, it's really hard to commit murder these days with all these DNA cops and stuff. It's not like it was in the 80s, man. You watch Unsolved Mysteries, you know how many people got away with murder?
A lot.
Tons of them. These days, not so much. Everybody has cameras. Kyle O'Reilly, I'm going to get him actual guitar lessons because he looks kind of like an asshole just air guitaring, and he's obviously not playing anything. And then Bobby Fish, you noticed that in a picture it looked like he was missing a tooth. I'm going to get him a mouth guard.
He does wear a mouth guard for matches, though.
A better mouth guard.
All right, fine. Bray Wyatt.
Steal one.
There you go. Bray Wyatt, Universal Champion. He likes his sweaters and sweater vests. I'm going to give him some more sweaters and sweater vests so he can wear the Firefly Funhouse. Bailey seemed like she likes her eyeliner a lot now. More eyeliner and some goth CDs like some Bauhaus, something like that.
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura, you're a Continental Champion. He likes to surf.
Oh, yeah.
Surfboards.
Wetsuit.
or wetsuit, surfing stuff.
Surfing stuff. Was it Surfer Wax?
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Day. Xavier Woods is out. They need a way to connect while he's during his off season. They play video games together. That's what they do. Video games. On to AEW. Chris Jericho. He loves his Omaha steaks. Give him a box of meat.
He probably gets that already from his
from
Omaha Steaks.
He seemed to love it so much he can have some more.
Oh, okay.
All right, gift card to Longhorn Steakhouse.
Yeah. Oh, he don't want to go back. That's where everything gets stolen.
And of course, some bubbly.
Get him some bubbly.
SCU, they're from Southern California. Disneyland is very expensive.
Yeah, it is.
It's ridiculously expensive.
Especially now the Galaxy's Edge is there.
Yeah. So Disneyland tickets for them.
That's a good one.
Wasn't sure about Riho.
I don't know what she likes.
I don't know what she likes either.
A bigger women's championship.
There you go.
It's tiny.
It's pretty small.
Yeah, get her a bigger one.
Got some text questions next. First from Tiger Mask Tim Morris. Hey, friendos, who do you think has potential to make wrestling cool to the mainstream again? Is it even possible? Is it possible? Yeah. I think there's people on rosters of several companies that could do it. If you're just talking WWE, Becky's come the closest. She uses some ESPN commercials.
Yeah.
Give her a couple movie roles coming up, and I think it could happen. Matt Riddle, I think he could be a huge crossover star.
I agree with that.
He's so affable.
I agree with that.
He's funny.
Yeah.
He just comes off like he's a good talker. Like his trash talk to Goldberg's great. He's a really good talker, but he comes off as like a pretty grounded dude. Daniel Bryan still could. And I'm not even necessarily saying go back to the Yes Movement thing. He's just so damn brilliant.
Yeah.
He can find a way to get himself over and cross from the mainstream again. Problem is, and we say this all the time, WWE is not good at building up huge stars.
No, they're not.
The Becky Lynch situation kind of happened by accident.
The other name I was going to mention, I still think this dude could be this generation's Stone Cold if handled properly.
Kevin Owens. Yeah.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
for sure. I think everybody else comes off as too. Roman's really good with the media, but I think Roman is like too chill. I think you need somebody who you can kind of relate to. Kevin Owens is naturally charismatic. He's funny. He looks like a normal dude. So yeah, I'd say Kevin Owens, but they don't know. They have no idea. Vince has no idea how to make. Look, honestly, you can take any number of people on main roster NXT, and they all could be people who could bring WWE to crossover prominence again.
Yeah.
But Vince has zero idea.
Like, why isn't the New
how to
Day?
get them to that
Why
point.
isn't the New Day hosted Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, I know.
How amazing would that be?
Yeah, it'd be great. But Vince does not know how to get them over that hump of just superstar into super duper star.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. There's at least a dozen members of the current roster that could be huge crossover stars.
Chris Dijak, baby. That's where it's at. Donovan Dijakovic.
Oh, I made it too soon to tell for Dijak.
Yeah, I'm a big star.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, watch me on CNN.
CNN, that's not really entertainment.
Let me give my take on impeachment hearings.
What do you think about the quid pro quo?
It's bogus.
Next, King Kitano says, I freaking love heel Io Shirai. I was thinking about a heel faction with Asuka, Kairi, and maybe a fourth member. I don't know if you're familiar with the Black Lotus Triad. If not, look up their match against Pentagon Jr. in Lucha Underground. It was a heel, all in dark leather faction with Io and Kairi. To see something similar in WWE, preferably in NXT, would be interesting in my opinion. Maybe even feud against Undisputed Era. What do you think about this? And have you any suggestions about the fourth member? I think that'd be awesome.
Asuka, Kairi, Io Shirai.
Yeah.
And then a fourth member, Donovan Dijakovic.
Hey, how's it going? I'm a fourth guy.
I'm a heel, yeah.
I'm a heel now, right? Okay. Feast your eyes on a Magic 8 Ball.
I'm going to say Dakota Kai.
She's kind of a nerd, though, man.
I know, but
she's kind of a loser.
She's in the point now where she's feeling like she's been pushed around. She thought maybe she earned herself an opportunity, didn't get it. It's moments like these where people are tempted to turn to the dark side, to go heel.
The right answer is Rhea Ripley, man. Could you imagine that? Rhea Ripley with freaking Io Shirai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Holy crap. It'd be like Bullet Club, but like even cooler. Man, that'd be great. And then you use Io Shirai's theme music, though, because it's
that's
freaking
the best.
amazing.
That's the best.
Or some Poppy, perhaps. Anyways.
Next, Luis Ariza. What wrestling revelation surprised you most?
Oh, wow.
And he mentions that Drew Gulak and Orange Cassidy were the ant colony in Shikara. I did not know that.
That's interesting. I know Orange Cassidy's been around for a while. He was whatever his other name was for a long time. What wrestling revelation surprised? Jeez.
Usually it's situations where wrestlers have such diametrically opposed gimmicks that you think, that's really the same person?
Like Rick Rude was like, you mean like when they're counter to what their gimmick is in real life?
Well, I got the example here. When I found out that Demolition Smash, Barry Darso, like the super intense kind of wannabe Road Warrior type thing, was also the Repo Man.
Oh, yeah,
which is just a total comedy gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
That always weirds me out.
Boy, I know there are some. Like weird in like, wasn't Beefcake the guy who like got his face mauled by like a jet ski or something?
Yeah,
or a sailboat.
He was in a boating accident.
It was a boating accident. That was weird.
Is that really a revelation?
Not really.
Oh, all right.
Man, I know there are some out there. The world of wrestling is a really, really weird thing.
That it is.
It's really bizarre. What wrestling revelation surprised you the most?
The day I found out it wasn't real.
Dude, I don't know. Like, there's so many weird things in wrestling. I'll be honest, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Right.
I don't know.
We can just move on. We can move on. This one's interesting. From the Hadley Doodley champ. So I want you guys to select a wrestler for the other to stalk, and then give a plan as to how they would stalk their wrestler. So I give you a wrestler to stalk, and vice versa.
Oh, okay. All right.
Steve is allowed to murder if you can get away with it, and Larson is free to snitch on his wrestler and/or Steve.
Okay.
So for the wrestler for you to stalk, I picked Dexter Loomis because I think that'd be a pretty interesting cat and mouse game.
Okay.
Between you and Dexter.
Okay. And I have to plan now. I have to tell you how I would stalk Dexter Loomis.
Okay. Or do I have to? I think I have to give the plan.
Okay. How would I stalk Dexter Loomis?
Well, you'd out Dexter.
Oh wow.
Or try to.
So like a lot of rope, bleach, duct tape. What I think what I would do maybe
car trunks, yes,
is I would leave like little dead animals on his doorstep. Like he'd come out,
but knowing that he wouldn't be weirded out by it, he'd be intrigued.
Yeah, he'd be really interested in it. And then like when he thinks that we're going to be like a tag team of murderers, I would swerve him and be like, "No, you're the ultimate prey," and he's like, "Oh, you got me.
You got me."
Yeah,
exactly.
Checkmate. So yeah, that's good. So who would you? I would have.
But that would put me in an interesting conundrum as the snitch in the situation, because yes, you committed murder, but if Dexter Loomis, if we assume this is all kayfabe,
yeah, he's a murderer.
In fact, a murderer.
Yeah,
and may have murdered more than you murdered.
Yeah,
that's a pickle for old Larson.
It's not a pickle. Don't snitch. I'm your best friend. Don't. How about just don't snitch?
It's something to think about. Anyway.
By the way, I'm still leading far ahead in the Friendoverse poll. People who are Team Steve, aka Don't Snitch, and Team Larson, aka Team Snake.
Is that supposed to influence my thought?
No, it's just to further show you that you're a snake and snakes die alone. So there you go. Have that. I don't know. What is that? What is that crap?
Okay.
Freaking snake. Anyways, I'm going to have you stalk Lex Luger. No, I'm going to have you stalk Sting.
All right.
Because we need to find out if RoboCop was Peter Weller under that helmet. So obviously what you're going to do is...
Would it just make more sense for me to stalk Peter Weller then?
He's not a wrestler that we know of.
Well, if he was under the mask, then if
that's a big
Capital Combat, then we can assume
Let me ask you this.
He would qualify, I guess.
Does Sting know?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Or if he did, he might have forgotten.
I don't think he'd forget. I think he would. If he knew, he knew. He might have never known. Like, there's just a dude. Do you think RoboCop ever had his helmet up? There are so many questions I have about RoboCop. at Capital Combat.
Maybe you
the
should be
return
the
of
one.
RoboCop.
Maybe you should be the one stalking Sting then.
I should be. I think it's a good idea. Anyways, that's it for Matt Chat. You can stalk our Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. $20 gets your video question right here. Wrestling. I want to give Luis an answer here first, though.
All right.
Wrestling revelation that surprised me the most. I think when I found out who was Naito in that tag team with?
Oh, wasn't it Tokyo Pimp?
Oh, was that it? And then Balor was in a tag team with
Taguchi.
Taguchi, yeah.
Alpha 55, yeah.
Yeah. So that was weird. Some of the New Japan stuff is kind of weird. That's a little weird. I'm trying to think of like a Vince revelation that weirded me out.
He loves snow cones.
He loves snow cones. He thinks farts are the funniest thing ever.
Well, he's got a point there.
One of the weirdest wrestling revelations. There was so post wrestling, John Pollock, I think it was, did a really great it was like a 20-minute report or podcast on the last 24 hours or 48 hours of Owen Hart's life. And it went over specifically the mechanisms of the harness that, he ended up getting freed from and ended up dying. And in that there was a lot of, and I don't know the specific, I forget the specifics, but I remember being really sort of intrigued at some of the stuff that he was bringing up there, from like the very specific type of, clips or whatever they're called, fasteners or whatever. That was really interesting stuff. And it wasn't really necessarily weird, but to understand how it all went down and how it really could have been and should have been prevented in the first place was all pretty sad. So I don't know. That's a bummer of an ending. I'm sorry.
All right.
This is interesting. Who would win in a fight, a grizzly bear or a silverback gorilla? I didn't see that part of the question.
I don't know.
Probably a gorilla, right?
Also, it depends on the bear.
I feel like more people.
A grizzly bear?
The grizzly bear.
I think a grizzly would be larger, right?
Really?
Maybe.
I don't know, man. I've seen some of those gorillas. Didn't like a gorilla fight Godzilla once?
Well, that was in a movie, and that was King Kong.
Yeah. King Kong could definitely beat a bear.
Well, yeah. So a grizzly bear, its weight, a male could be 600 pounds, and its length would be 6.5 feet. So like standing up, if it stood up, it'd probably be like 6.5 feet tall.
6.5 feet?
Yeah.
How tall is a silverback gorilla?
I'm looking at that right now. About 5.2 to 5.6 feet.
Shorter than me. Interesting.
I'm trying to find out weight, though.
Jesus, that guy is huge. I'm just going to Google who would win.
All right.
Who would win? Silverback or grizzly? It's like a pre-filled thing. All right, here we go.
So the tallest gorilla recorded was 6.5 feet and weighed 483 pounds. So lighter than the bear.
So, okay, according to this, on Quora, the grizzly would almost always win that fight.
All right.
Interesting. All right. Well,
Grizzly it is.
grizzly it is, like according to one guy in Quora.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for watching. Until next time, talk to you later.
Bye.